This is WGAN TV Channel 13, Portland, Maine, and it is time now for the Newsbeat Noon Report for this Monday, October 4th, 1991 at 12 noon. Good afternoon, everybody. I am Peter Wiggins. Here's what's happening. The dock strike that closed ports from Canada to New Mexico enters its 96th day on Monday, making it the longest in West Coast history, and meditators said Sunday the negotiations were making some progress. Negotiations in the East Coast dock strike that started Friday and continue to produce the first coast-to-coast longshoremen's walkout were scheduled to resume on Monday. Union negotiators in the mine workers' walkout were to report to their members on Monday. J. Curtis Courts, the chief federal meditator who has been meeting with both sides in the West Coast strike, said Sunday in San Francisco, "We are near a settlement that we were before, and we're still trying. Until now, the longest dock strike in Pacific Coast history was a walkout 23 years ago that was settled on Christmas Eve after 95 days. The work stoppage by 15,000 longshoremen that has shut down 24 ports from Canada to Mexico since July 1st, causing financial loss that's estimated at more than $1.5 billion in California alone." After a meeting with both sides in Oregon on September 25th, President Nixon announced that negotiations promised to try for a settlement by the weekend. Kent said Nixon had made no further pleas with either side since then. Edwin Scott, regional director at the Federal Mediation Service, said substantial progress has been made by Friday, but he said Sunday, "I never said we had have it all wrapped up by this weekend. We're making progress, however." Negotiators met until 9:30 p.m. Saturday and planned to resume Sunday afternoon at issue in a dispute over loading certain container cargo, plus the longshoremen's demands for a 34.7% wage hike and a guaranteed 40-hour work week and more fringe benefits. Involved in the East Coast walkout are 45,000 members of the AFL-CIO International Longshoremen's Union Association. The guaranteed wage issue is the center of the dispute. The union seeks retention of a contract provision guaranteeing eligible longshoremen of 2,080 hours of pay a week and pay a year, the equivalent of 52 weeks at 40 hours a week. The New York Shipping Association said the planned cost ship is about $15 million. In Washington, the Secretary of Health, Education, and Welfare said Sunday that the next administration plans to include control on hospitals and doctors costs in phase 2 of the new economic program. Secretary Elliot L. Richardson said since Nixon announced his program on August 15 to stem inflation and unemployment, the department has been working with the Cost of Living Council on sanctions for after the wage price freeze ends. Because at a very rapid rate these costs have been rising year after year, we do intend to include specific measures to deal with them. Richardson said he gave no specific. Richardson made his comments on the NBC radio TV program Meet the Press. Richardson said that the Nixon administration has in addition may spread a proposal to Congress supplementing the President's health insurance bills to deal with the cost and quality of the medical services. Richardson said since the administration has proposed to mandate health insurance coverage for all families and workers, that we should also hold out assurances that cost and quality of medical care are going to be protected. On another subject, Richardson said there was a complete opportunity that Congress made complete action. United Nations New York delegates of many nationalities and convictions were agreed Sunday that the United States faces hard going with its proposal to keep nationalist China in the United Nations while inviting Communist China to come in. A few predicted outright that the Communist People's Republic of China would be in the Nationalist Republic of China at before the end of the General Assembly's 3-month 256th annual session was to be due December 21st. But most of the speculating on the subject were saying that it was a toss-up whether the United States would win and that the 2 or 3 votes would be one way or the other would be decided at issues. That as the situation as Secretary of State William P. Rogers prepared to go before the Assembly with a general statement of the U.S. policy, including a defense of the Two China scheme, and he announced on Washington on August 2nd. His announcement was that the Assembly of the United States would support action for ceding the People's Republic of China and the United Nations, but oppose any action to expel the Republic of China. Rogers said that he was fully in accord with President Nixon's desire to normalize relationships with the People's Republic of China, dramatized by Nixon's July 15 announcement that he was going to Peking sometime before next May. The Secretary of State will speak in the 130 Nation Assembly General Debate at 10:30 a.m. Eastern Daylight Time on Monday. His speech will consist of 30 to 40 minutes. In Washington, and party line fight both House Republicans and Democrats marshaled forces Sunday for a Monday vote on President Nixon's postponement of government and workers' pay raises. Leaders of both parties sent out telegrams over the weekend urging members to be present Monday for the vote on a resolution to veto the president's postponement. Usually attendance in Congress is down Monday because many members have took long weekends. In last-minute appeal Saturday, Nixon concluded Congress under political pressure to veto the 6-month delay from January 1st to July 1st after pay raises for more than 4 million federal workers, including the military. The president, in a statement issued from the Florida White House, said that it was Congress were to cave under that pressure. Consequences would be rapid, extensive, and severe. The president has issued an executive order putting off the pay raises for 1.4 million civilian and 2.9 million military personnel as part of his new economic policy to halt inflation and cut employment and unemployment. The 6-month delay is intended to save $1.3 billion to help balance the revenue loss resulting from proposed tax cuts designed to stimulate the economy. White House sources have said that there's a separate $2.4 billion pay raise for military personnel designed to stimulate enlistments, and the move to voluntary armed forces will go into effect on November 13 when the wage price freeze ends. Da Nang, Vietnam. Gunfire rattled in the streets of Vietnam's second largest city on Sunday, and armored cars rumbled in a quell the bloodiest anti-government demonstration on Election Day. Hundreds of monks in saffron robes, high school students, disabled veterans, Vietnamese Boy Scouts, and teenage girls in paradise clashed repeatedly with police and army troops in savage street fight. By day's end, local hospitals reported treating at least 57 wounded, 31 of them by gunshot and 26 by shrapnel from hand grenades. All but 9 were civilians. Monks at the Tin White Pagoda claimed that 2 persons were killed, a 17-year-old student demonstrator and 42-year-old demonstrator of a man that described as a non-looker. They said that they were hiding the bodies to prevent authorities from talking and taking them away, and later disclaiming any knowledge of the fatalities. The disturbances erupted earlier in the morning as columns of demonstrators led by monks tried to block roads leading to 9 polling places in downtown Da Nang. They were met by barbed wire barricades and combat police with M16 rifles. When the monks removed some of the barricades, the police began firing tear gas canisters. The demonstrators retailed with rocks and Molotov cocktails, screaming down with the election. Some of the demonstrators carried gas masks. Others used cellophane bags or simply squeezing lemons out of their streaming eyes. Da Nang took on the appearance of a battlefield as concertina were rolled across the intersection. The street became littered in rocks and broken glass, and troops in full combat gear poured into the reinforced police. Fires smoldered in some streets where disabled veterans burned rubber tires and election posters. Black smoke from the towers mingled with that. Freeport State Senator David L. Graham described as deplorable Sunday as a legislative ethics committee clearing Representative Louis Jalbert of a conflict of interest allegation. The legislature is riddled with conflicts of interest everywhere, and everybody knows that. The Democrat senator told audiences, as he's from Freeport, he said, Jalbert, a Lewiston Democrat and unofficial dean of the Maine House, has asked the ethics panel to settle the matter after the conflict of interest question arose. The allegations stem from Jalbert's newly acquired executive position with the Maine Central Railroad and his membership on a legislative oil study committee. That panel is studying the feasibility of establishing an oil refinery at Eastport, a facility which the Maine Central acknowledges would substantially increase profits for the line. The Attorney General's office told the ethics committee shortly before it was issued that Jalbert had apparently began negotiating for his railroad post before he was named to the oil study subcommittee. Graham said Sunday that by remaining on the subcommittee, Jalbert has put himself in a position that could be misinterpreted. He said he was not questioning Jalbert's integrity, but added it was not a question of honesty, but a question of appearances. The public, especially the young, will soon be the public in with these. In towards France, the French ambassador to Peking, traveling with a Chinese delegation currently visiting France, said Sunday, something has happened in China. I cannot tell you anything more. 18 Mana made the statement in reply to the questions about the unusual activities around the Chinese delegation in the early hours of Sunday morning. 4 officials from the Chinese embassy in Paris made a night drive 135 miles to Valencia with the information of the sufficient importance to wait Pa Hasonko, Minister of the Internal Trade and External Trade legislation, leading to the delegation after midnight. Pal, the highest-ranking communist Chinese official, over to visit Western Europe on a nation-to-nation visit. The Chinese maintained silence on the reason for the night visit. There were no rooms at the hotel for the 4.
Be able to continue to go to work, go to school, provide for my kids. She'll miss out on her own education.
In Washington, Senator Hubert H. Humphrey is not a man of the temperament to settle for a backbench role in the Senate, and the debt ceiling debate of the May one day be seeking to reclaim the Democratic leadership, posted in the on one tell. There's evidence from the Junior Senator from Minnesota who has spent 15 years in the Senate and 4 as Vice President is not satisfied with the way things are being run now. Humphrey served 4 years as Democrat with the #2 leadership spot before resigning his seat to take the vice presidency. That position now is being held by Senator Robert C. Byrd of West Virginia, who wanted generated by challenging and defeating Senator Edward M. Kennedy of Massachusetts at the Democratic caucus. At the moment, Humphrey's political goal lies beyond the Capitol. He is preparing for what is likely to be a bid for a run again in 1972 for the second time as Democratic nominee for the White House. Humphrey has said he is stepping up his speaking schedule, moving around some more as he explores his presidential prospects. He says he will decide about the end of the year whether to run. If he doesn't try and loses, it's possible to envision Humphrey can challenge to move in the leadership at the beginning of the 93rd Congress. In January 1982, Humphrey has not indicated any such contingency plan as he had his differences with the Byrd over the way the Senate business is being scheduled in the run. Senate Democratic leader Mike Mansfield of Montana has left the parliamentary mechanics and floor management duties largely to Byrd, who seldom is far from his desk while the Senate is in session. And Byrd in turn has worked to make the Senate run on time and scheduled votes, days, and events. Humphrey is known to have complained at the one time that Byrd talked to him due to the schedule and vote to the Fed Amendment when he absenteeism was heavy. The amendment was defeated and Humphrey didn't elect it. He has balked at Byrd's strictures of the daily period set aside for the routine speeches by senators. It has been trimmed to 15 minutes most days minus the time required to call on the roll of attendance. Humphrey was cut off in mid-speech Thursday and said it was outrageous. Later, amid a hassle over parliamentary matters and the schedule of votes, Humphrey stepped in the role customary that a leader in the movement to join his motion and fail. Washington, prodded by the Congress Secretary of the Army, Robert F. Wilkie, is reviewing personally Lieutenant Colonel Anthony B. Herbert's file to determine whether the decorated officer now facing forced retirement was unjustly relieved of his command. Herbert claims that it is one promising career was turned into shambles after he accused two superior officers of covering up of civilian atrocities in Vietnam. The Army's most decorated enlisted man of the Korea War now spends his days as industrial operations at Fort McPherson, Georgia, as supervising laundry services and post-mortuary. Congressional sources said Wilkie's review is based on information brought to his attention only last month. The sources say that this information involves documents found by Colonel Freddie Hanser, 3rd Army Adjutant General at Fort McPherson, recommended that a damage and efficiency report against Herbert be expunged from the record, then that the case be resolved in Herbert's favor. Although Hansard said, and he recommended it made a year ago and he was never acted on, the sources said. Hansard said in the telephone interview from Fort McPherson that his recommendation was a staff-coordinated position which he reported the Army headquarters in Washington September 9th of 1970. The colonel said he would never received the reply and wasn't aware of what became of it, as was it has been delayed. Representative F. Edward Hubert, Democrat of Louisiana, chairman of the House Armed Services Committee, learned of Hansard's recommendation last month and worked Wilkie September 20th and urged him to review Herbert's case. The material that we came up with a lead by the chairman to believe that something ought to be done, and because of Herbert's last avenue of appeal has been exhausted. Committee sources said the word we have been getting from the Army was that no one was aware of the Adjutant General report. Army spokesman acknowledged that Wilkie has entered the case but refused for comment. Saigon, President Nguyen Van Phu was assured Monday of an overwhelming vote of confidence far in excess of what is he asked for in his unopposed but violent smart bid for re-election, with the final results of tabulated in 45 of South Vietnam's 56 voting constituencies. All 40 said they had won an average of 95.55% of the ballot cast, with 4.45% against him. Election officials claimed that nationwide on record 87.7% of the more than 7 million registered voters cast the ballot. Fear the only presidential candidate had specified 50% one-man election. He had said he would resign if he did not get many votes. South Vietnamese could vote against him by mutilating and defacing their ballots or putting in an empty envelope in their ballot box. Saigon, Communist Command Forces launched 60 small attacks against South Vietnam and across it and pressed their offensive along the Cambodian border into a second week Sunday, but President Nguyen Van Phu said that they failed in their plans to sabotage their presidential election. At least 28 South Vietnamese and 1 American were reported killed and 139 Vietnamese and 1 American wounded in enemy shellings. Terror incidents and accidental bombing by U.S. aircraft in the street rioted by anti-government demonstrators. On the basis of still incomplete reports, 8 of the dead and 30 were wounded and were casualties suffered by the South Vietnamese troops on the Cambodian side of the border. Pressing their offensive there, North Vietnamese forces kept the key South Vietnamese fire base isolated from its mother base at the Cambodian town of Krek and heavily shelled the 8th consecutive day. 7 South Vietnamese soldiers were killed and 26 were wounded at the base called Alpha, 4.5 miles south of Krek. At the same time, U.S. fighter bombers were trying to ease the pressure on the Krek operation with massive airstrikes and killed one South Vietnamese soldier and wounded 12 in an accidental bombing. The U.S. command said that the bombers struck very close to the assigned target, but shortly before they dropped their bombs, a South Vietnamese unit moved into the area. There was concern about fire-based alpha, and some U.S. senior officials expressed disappointment that the South Vietnamese had failed to launch a strong infantry and armored assault to relieve it from the artillery siege instead of depending on U.S. air power. Firepower alone isn't going to stop the enemy, said one American officer. You're not going to stop them by air attacks. You're not going to get out and find them. You can, as the South Vietnamese base has been saying for 3 days that they're going to launch a strong counterattack, but they haven't done. I don't know why. The South Vietnamese sent a ranger battalion from Craig East Road toward Alpha on several occasions, but it was been stopped along Highway 7, which is cut as returned to Craig. Patrols are operating outside Alpha during the day, but returning at night without venturing very far. At the plus side, the South Vietnamese were able to move a convoy north along the section of Highway 22. The first road traffic since the regiments of the North Vietnamese troops cut the 30-mile corridor leading into Tan Ninh to the Cambodian border last Sunday. The truck convoy was moving up and down a 30-mile stretch of Highway 22 from Tan Ninh to the Cambodian border. 5 weekend traffic deaths were boosted. Maine's 1971 highway fatality totaled 195, which is 15 less than the 210 killed on the state last year. State police said Edward W. Johnson, 22 of Waterville, was killed Sunday when the motorcycle he was driving failed to negotiate a curve and slammed into a tree stump. Investigators said the motorcycle traveled out of control for 227 feet before it hit the stump thrown Johnson from the vehicle. Johnson was dead on arrival at a Pittsfield hospital. David A. Benson, 19 of men, died at the Bangor hospital Sunday after being injured Saturday in a motorcycle accident on Ocean Drive in Ekiti National Park in Bar Harbor. A 24-year-old Biddeford man was killed early Sunday when his truck went off the river road in Kennebunkport and rolled down a 30-foot embankment. Police said the man, James W. Clark, was thrown from the cab of the truck. James E. Huff, 26 of Waterville, was killed late Friday when his car rolled over on Route 234 in North Anson, and Stephen Weeman, 21 of Steep Falls, was killed the same night when his motorcycle and a car collided on a Turkey Lane Road in West Buxton. In Saigon, a president and gun then through winds of voter confidence from South Vietnam's voters usually appears certain to it will be confirmed what? Observers here after man leave for months. That is in the country's most astute and now powerful politician since Ngo Dinh Diem. Our colonel and Army Division commander, though, and a pivotal figure of the 1963 coup which overthrew Diem, although Theo agreed to participate in a coup and he did not order his troops to move to Saigon until he was certain that the coup would be successful. Theo was successful and sufficiently aloof to survive several subsequent coups between 1963 and 1965. He was promoted to colonel to become lieutenant general, and in 1965 became the chief of state under the head by Alright, Bob O'Reilly will have the weather after this commercial break on Newsbeat Noon Report. Stay tuned.
Left-hand side of your screen. This is the Annisquam River, and we're told the driver has gotten out of the vehicle at this point.
I wondered where the money went. I thought I was pulling a pretty good salary for my first job, but it seemed that neither my wife nor I could keep track of where it all went. Then I opened a joint checking account. Since my account reflects our complete spending picture, I can really keep our money organized. My canceled checks and deposit slips are available at tax and bill paying time too. At Maine National, my checking account really works for me. I have money from it transferred regularly into my savings and Christmas club, my auto loan, and even safe deposit box fee. Let's face it, the only business way and the business-like way to handle money is to write it. Yep, write it by a pen here. Write your money at the Maine National Bank, 400 Congress Street in Portland, Maine, 04111. Okay, now on to the weather with Bob O'Reilly, and is brought to you by the Maine National Bank at 400 Congress Street in Portland, Maine, 04111. Alright, take it away, Bob. Alright, thank you, Peter. Thank you, Peter. Right now, our current conditions at
More time to
Noontime reports around the region. It's 56 in Portland and out in Lewiston, 59 out in Brunswick, 59 in Rockland, 56 out in Bar Harbor, Maine, 56 in Augusta, 56 up in Bangor, in Millinocket and in Holton, pair 42s in Preckout and Caribou, 59 in Portsmouth, 49 in Manchester and in Concord and in Lebanon and in Dover, New Hampshire, and also 49 degrees out in Mount Washington and Berlin and Sherbrooke, Quebec, and 49 in Quebec City, Canada.
This will be the first tropical storm to impact the United States.
Alright, let us take a look at our national weather situation today. Shows fair and mild weather will be predicted for the New York metropolitan area today and most of the mid-Atlantic states. Scattered showers and thunderstorms are anticipated from western New York and Michigan to southern Alabama and Texas. Here, cooler weather will prevail across the Midwest from Michigan to northern Texas, while warmer weather expected from the Gulf states, the Carolinas, and from California and Oregon. Dry and mild conditions will dominate elsewhere in the nation. So far, forecast for Maine forecasts go like this. For Monday, most of the sun skies high near 60 degrees. Winds becoming southeast about 10 to 20 miles an hour. Monday night, increasing cloudiness with a chance of showers developing in at night and continuing in Tuesday. Low Monday night, 45 to 50 degrees. And highs Tuesday in the 60s, probably rain, 10% Monday and 30% Monday night. For New Hampshire, Monday increase in cloudiness, highs in the 60s. Monday night, cloudy skies with a chance of few showers, low near 50 degrees. Tuesday, variable cloudiness, a chance of few showers. Early today, highs in the 60s to low 70s. And for Vermont, cloudiness on Monday with a chance of showers and scattered thunderstorms highs Monday in the low to mid 70s. Highs in the low to mid 60s and few near 70s. And same goes for Tuesday. Low Monday night, 50s. Sunset 6:18 p.m. Here, days late 11 hours 36 minutes. Morning stars Saturn and Mercury, evening stars Venus, Mars, and Jupiter. High tide 11:42 p.m. in Portland, 12:52 p.m. in Bath, Wiscasset at 11:52 p.m. Hopswell 11:37 p.m. Booth Bay Harbor 11:37 p.m. and Small Point at 11:32 p.m. And that's going to be it for the Newsbeat noon report for this October 4th, 1971 on a Monday on P-Wiz alongside Barbara Wilson. You have a good day and good night on Channel 13 will be search for tomorrow. Newsbeat 13 will be back at 6 with the game. Have a good day. Bye for now. Here.